folks, and welcome along to the Hot Rod Show, brought to you by Mothers, Polishers and Waxers, episode 3, Doug. And we say it every week, we're living in strange times. We've got the COVID-19 thing, but we've also got politics just around the corner.
Yeah.
October 17th, the election. Where's the Hot Rod party, mate?
Well, I don't know whether it should be our party. You know, we need to have a party. We need to have our voice heard in politics.
Pretty big voting block, Hot Rodders.
Oh, that'll be a big block, small block.
Small
no
block or a
voting
big
block.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Yes, well, what else we got for you on the show? We've got a special guest coming in, Gary Bogart from Mary Mary Dragway. We'll be in with a bit of a chat. Doug, you head off to Turangi to an NSRA meeting. That's something a little bit different.
Oh, yeah, man. Lead Central down in Turangi. Sabi Quinton, man. He's a dude.
He's the guy that puts it all on?
He's the guy that puts it on, man. Every year. Lead Central in Turangi.
Right, so we'll look forward to that. Now, before we get into the meat and drink of the show, last week we ran a tribute to Nigel Allsop, and we got a huge reaction from you, the punters out there. So thank you very much for everyone that got in touch with us. We really appreciate what you thought of the tribute to Nigel. As we said at the time, he was a very special young man, and will be sadly missed by the Hot Rod community. Coming up, a word from mothers, and then we're into episode 3.
What is speed? Let's agree on 2 things. Speed is what gets you there, faster. And speed always leaves a smile on your face. This is Speed, high-performance car care from Mothers.
Welcome back. You're watching the Hot Rod Show, courtesy of Mothers, Polishers and Waxers. Gee, those Mothers products are good, aren't they, Doug?
Yeah, there's no shine like a mother's. Phil.
That's right.
No shine like a mother's.
That's exactly right. Every car should shine with the Mother's shine. Doug, you're a bit of a drag racing nut, aren't you?
I
or just a
love
nut,
drag
I'm not
racing.
sure which.
Man, they're quarter-mile gladiators. You know, they suit up, they get in their cars, man, and then they just blast down the drag strip. I love it, eh? It's the sport of our sport.
Drag racing's been down at Mary Mary since 1973. That was the opening meeting. Gary Bogart, our special guest, hasn't been there since 73. Well, probably has been because he's a dyed-in-the-wool drag race nutter. But he's now the track manager at Mary Mary. How's it going, Gary?
Good, Phil. Glad to be here.
We talked a little bit off air and I said, how long you been doing this? And you said it's a long, long time now.
It has been a long time. I've been going down the drag since teenage days. Started racing mid-80s in my Falcon. Ray Peterson got me involved in the board 20-something odd years ago. Brought me on board to look after the books, accounts, then joined on the board and been in this role as the manager of the track for 11 years now.
Some would say that that's the dream job, but probably not. The look on your face probably says it all.
Hey, it is a great job. It's an excellent job. The variety is great, but hey, being the man at the top, whatever goes, good or wrong, it's on your shoulders. So you're looking after the races, you're looking after volunteers, you're looking after the public, but it is a great job.
I've been down there plenty of times, and you've done both. You've been the organiser, you've had your organiser's hat on, but you've also raced your car. How do you divide the time?
Quite easily. How Mary Mary works and why it works so good is our volunteer base.
Mm-hmm.
When I started there, part of the thing I said to the board, I'd like to still race when I can.
Yep.
To do that, I have put in team leaders, and they look after their area of the drag strip, whether it's the main tower, whether it's the crash crew, whether it's the front gates, pits. There's a team leader in there, they look after that. When I'm racing, as long as nobody's bloody fallen over or there's something drastically wrong, they look after that and I can go race. Now that my son's racing, it gives me a bit more chance to look after him as well, and I step back a little bit from the racing. Yeah.
And how special is that to be watching your
Great.
son race?
Actually, sometimes I prefer rather stand on the start line and watch him race now. I mean, I've been racing so many years now, and it's great for him to get into it. Yeah.
People are going to ask, what was it about drag racing that sort of drew you to the strip?
It's the only motorsport in the world on land with the horsepower. I mean, there's nothing. You look like Top Fuel, 10,000 horsepower. Top Alcohol, 5,000 horsepower. You know, you have a look, supercars, 700 horsepower. I mean, it's just great what you can get out of, whether it's a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, V8, how much horsepower you can get out of that unit in that 400 metres. There's nothing like it in the world.
It's about that buzz, isn't it? I know I was selling the start line when Marshy and
Yeah.
Fish were there in the top fuel cars, and I mean, there's
Unbelievable.
just something special about
Yeah.
that.
And open headers,
Yeah.
no noise constraints, beautiful.
You would have seen a lot of changes at Mary since your time. I mean, I remember going down there when I think Pete Lodge and Hombre and Robin
Yeah.
Akovich and those guys were racing. And I mean, 8 seconds was pretty near unheard of. Now we're in the fours. I
Wow.
mean, would you say that you've lived through the glory years of drag racing in this country?
I probably missed out some of the early glory days,
Yep.
because I'm only a young fella.
Sure, we all are. Well, we kid
But
ourselves.
hey, it's good to see milestones. You know, the Marshy 4-second pass, Plumpton 5-second door car pass. You know, it's great. You know, those are things, 20, 30 years ago was unheard of. And, who would have thought that you're going to get a car in 4 seconds?
Yeah, exactly. In
Yeah.
New Zealand,
Yeah.
and stop it
Yeah.
in time.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah, well, exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Now, I guess the elephant in the room, certainly this year, 2020 has been a bit of a bust certainly for outdoor sports.
Yeah.
Has been the COVID-19 pandemic. How's that affected your day-to-day sort of business, if you like?
Well, it hit March. Thank goodness that we got the Aeroflow, the Aussie funny cars out, and we got the New Zealand Nationals done. But basically after that, that was it. We were done. Level 4, no people, no this, no that. So it sort of put a real dampener on a really great season, financially as well. Normally those last few meetings of the year gives us some money to get through the winter.
Sure.
Well, we didn't have that. So that made a bit of a struggle going through the winter. We did get a couple of little winter drag wars off, but hey, they don't even pay the lease for the month. So, but hey, we're into level 1 again. Father's Day Drags is on the 4th of October, so we're open again. So we're hopefully, the weather's going to be fine, and hopefully we can stay in level 1 all through summer. That's the plan.
Yeah, I think any sport, I know, I'm involved in all sorts of different motorsports, and they're all saying
Yeah.
the same thing. Geez, if we can get a crowd back, well, then we can go again.
Correct. We had a lot of more development work we wanted to do before the season, but everything's gone on hold. We just financially can do that at the moment.
You mentioned before about the drag wars, and that's sort of an offshoot, isn't it, of drag racing?
It is.
Because it's the import cars.
Yes.
Well, not only the import cars, but
Yeah, we started Nightspeed Drag Wars 20-something odd years ago, and it was somewhere for the younger kids to go. Well, they're not young anymore, they're in their 40s and got kids and all that, and it was somewhere to get these street cars. I mean, we were cutting off 250 cars a night,
wow.
and we were finishing 1 o'clock in the morning, trying to get 250 cars through. It's quieted down a little bit than that. I mean, on average, we get 150, 160 cars a night now, which is manageable, and we get out of there hopefully by midnight now, 11:30. But it was to get young people into the cars, off the roads. That was the main thing, get them off the roads, and hopefully it gets into them getting into a race car. And some did.
And we've seen that with like the Abbott brothers and
The Abbott brothers, all those.
Yeah,
a lot
they
of those
started
guys
out
all
in drag wars.
started drag wars,
Yeah.
and next thing they want to go faster. And next thing the street car goes faster. But well, it's not really a street car anymore. Let's have a race car. And it's good, and it's really popular.
I suppose one of the more significant jobs in your tenure, if you like, was the resealing of the strip, taking all the lumps and bumps out.
7 years, I
Yeah.
think it is now. Yep, that was a huge financial commitment for the club. Still paying off the mortgage. But the biggest change we've seen, in my time there in the last 11 years, is health and safety.
Yeah.
I mean, what we've done, when I took over, we had Armco, small little concrete walls. We had one Chevy truck for a crash crew and an old Falcon station wagon that didn't start. And you have a look now, all our blocks are all certified. They go down one side 800 odd metres, 600 metres down the other side. $2,000 a block to lay.
Wow.
And they're 4 metres long. So you do the sums, how much money we've put into that. Lighting, we're now fully lighted. We can do night meetings. Took us 4 years for grants and that, so we can be self-sufficient with generators now. Not enough power coming into the facility, so we had to buy a generator to run them. Just that sort of things. The health and safety side of things, the training for our crash crew and all our staff. 10 years, 20 years ago, everything was, she'd be right.
But, I mean, I've been down there plenty of times. It's a pretty slick operation now.
We have got a great crew down there. We've got crew down there that were there at opening meeting. We've got 2 people that have been there since day one. Now, you're talking, we're 47 years in. How's that for commitment? 47 years volunteers. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. There's probably not a lot of sport that can say that they've had the same personnel there for nearly 50 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Even like in ball sports, rugby,
Yeah.
soccer, league.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it before, it is the volunteer force that make it run.
It
isn't
is. Without the volunteer force, the drag strip will never ever be there. And we've got a great amount of volunteers, and they're all excellent, and they do a great job.
And I think the other thing you've got there, in my experience anyway, all the people that are there are passionate about it.
Yes.
It's not just something you do in the weekend, it's something they look
No.
forward to.
I think I take my hat off more to the crash crew.
Yep.
These guys there will go on the track at 9:30 in the morning, and they're in double layer suits, at times balaclavas on there. It's 30 degrees down there, and they will stand there till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock that night in a crash crew suit in the blazing sun. Now, that is passion. Yes, I wouldn't do it. It's bad enough getting in your race car for 10 minutes with the race suit.
Exactly right.
But hey, these guys are there every time we have a meeting.
If you had a wish list, what would you want for, say, the next 5 years at Marymount?
Wish list, as many punters we can fit in the place. And then it comes back to financially. For us as a board, we look at what we would like to do to progress the sport in New Zealand and our facility. You give me $1 million tomorrow, I could spend it tomorrow on upgrades. Yeah, yeah.
So what would be the priority going forward? Say, obviously this season's going to be there's going to be a hangover from the COVID thing, but once we come right, what would be the next improvement you'd like to make?
The next major improvement, and probably once we get rid of our mortgage, is our braking area.
Oh, okay.
We've done a third of it when we did the track, but it really needs ripping up and starting again. After Marshy went off the end of the track with our WorkSafe report that we had on it, there is now a sand trap down there, and we've developed another 150 metres past there, so nobody can go up the mountain anymore. The mountain is finally gone.
It's a piece of history.
Well, it was. Well, the thing is, the mountain stopped a lot of cars. People went up the mountain,
absolutely.
and they never had an ounce of damage on their vehicle because they just went up that steep hill and stopped. Now, the mountain's gone, you go 80 mile an hour into a sand trap, your front fairings and whatever, they're not going to be flash anymore. But hey, that's the latest and greatest. That's what you need to make your place safe. And pull your chutes when you're meant to, and put your brakes on, and don't go in it.
Firm advice there from Jacob. Just don't go in it. That's the main thing. I was going to ask you about, have you got any big plans for this season? I know, like last year, you had the Aero Aussie Outlaw Funny Cars, and before that we had the Nitro Shootout with Marshy and Fishy, and I know that Ryan Sheldon's huge on Wild Bunch, so there's going to be some Wild Bunch happening down there.
Yeah, well, because of COVID, we've got nothing coming in from overseas.
Sure.
So we've got no plans to do that. For this season, we're going to run our normal 5 comp meetings, and a lot of that's for the local races. They love it. They come down there and they get the personal best, and it's like a comp series sort of thing, so there's points in that. We're going to run 2 of the National Drag Racing Champion Series. One is going to be beginning of January, and that goes into the Twilight, which is Wellington Invasion. That's a very good meeting. And then in March, we get the finals of the series. So everybody gains points before it. They get capped. You have to come to the finals to contest the series.
Okay, yeah.
So with that, one of our comp meetings, we've got Ryan Sheldon, Wild Bunch. That's in February the 13th, top of my head. That will be a good meeting. Very, very popular bracket of racing. So we're expecting that's going to be a very good meeting for the punters. Also, on our second comp meeting in this November, we have got Outlaw 71, which is reasonable, quite popular as well. On top of that, we've got the normal things, Nostalgia Drags, which is on in April from memory, Father's Day Drags coming up, Fawn Rotary into January, and on top of that, there's normally another 20-odd private bookings from car clubs, businesses. So I think we've got about 40 events booked in for this coming summer.
So that's very good. That's productive.
That's what we normally have.
Yeah.
Just we haven't got anything big coming from overseas.
Because people don't realise, I think, I mean, you look at Hampton Downs, you look at Pukekohe, it's a circuit, and that's booked out probably 5 days a week or something like that. But you think, who'd book a drag strip out? But I mean, it's multi-purpose now, isn't it?
Well, it is. We'll have on a weekend, we'll do a Friday night Speed Drag Wars, and then we might have the Commodore Club or Ford Club on the Saturday, and then we might have a business. We have a couple of businesses come down the hire facility for their customers and that on the Sunday. So we've got 3 events that weekend. So we got a fair good pool of volunteers, because the worst thing you do is burn them out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we got crash crew. We need 3 lots of crash crew for that weekend. So we have 6 that one and 5 the next one and 4 the next one, and swap it all around. And that's where it comes back. Volunteers. If you don't have the volunteers, you can't do the events.
Look, I love drag racing, and we could talk about this, well, forever, but we can't because time's against us. But Gary, thanks very much for coming in. Just mention again, when's Father's Day? That's
Father's
coming up
Day
next
is
week.
October the 4th.
Okay, so that's not far away.
That's not far, a week and a half.
And because you're past the Bombays, you're at level 1 down there.
Level 1,
So-
unlimited people allowed to come in. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
And there's always a huge car count for that.
It is huge. I think they cut off at 200.
Okay,
So
that's
if you're,
a busy day.
if you're going to enter the race, you've got to be there early.
All right, Gary, thanks very much for talking to us. Really appreciate it. I bet when you first got involved, you never thought I'd be running the show one day.
Not the first few years, but old Ray Peterson, he started prepping me at an early time.
we
He
see
keeps
that with
saying, he's saying, you know what you're going to be doing in the future.
Well, you do a marvellous job, and long may you continue.
you.
There you are, folks. Gary Bogart from the Mary Mary Drag Strip. Don't forget, October the 4th, Father's Day Drags. You want to go down and have a look at it. It is something pretty special.
Well, that was pretty cool. Gary Bogart. Thank you, Phil. Gary Bogart. That guy's a legend, you know. He runs that drag strip just like, beautifully. It's fantastic.
Well, as you said in the interview, you couldn't do it without the volunteers.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you all the guys that get round you and support you to make that event happen every time. It's fantastic.
And don't forget, folks, October the 4th, Father's Day Drags. It's on. They're in COVID level 1 because they're past the border of Auckland.
Oh, drag racing. Oh.
All right, that Father's Day Drag's just 9 days away. Get down there and support that great sport.
Patented performance. Unmatched shine. Drill-powered ease. 360-degree coverage. Where simplicity meets perfection. The new shape of shine. Experience it with the all-new Mother's PowerCone 360 Precision Polisher.
We're trying to take it to the next level at every step, and Mother's is a partner we trust.
Mother's really helps make our cars stand out.
It's genuine, it's authentic, and it's best in class.
We actually use Mother's wheel care products during our production process.
It's so easy to use. Just spray it on and wash off. It's just that simple.
Trusted and used by industry pros at Pirelli Tire North America, SMS Supercars, and HRE Performance Wheels. Mother's full line of wheel cleaners make cleaning any wheel a snap.
You're watching the Hot Rod Show, folks, on Face TV. Welcome back. Doug, hot rodding has infected every part of New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like bowling. If you go to any small town in New Zealand, there's a bowling club. There's a pub, there's a bowling club, and there's a dairy.
Yeah.
If you scratch the surface of any small town in New Zealand, there's probably a hot rod club.
Or people who have joined one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm from a little town called Waimana, down there near Whakatane in the Eastern Bay of Plenty. There's 163 people live in the village. I got into hot rodding. I just fell in love with it. It's the cars, it's the passion, but it's the people you meet too. You make friends and you keep them for life.
I think you hit it spot on when you said it's the passion, because
Yeah.
all these guys have got a passion.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do now, folks, on the Hot Rod Show, we're going to celebrate and we're going to pay tribute to one such organisation, and this is the National Street Rod Association, run by a guy called Ron Ward, someone that you're very familiar with.
Ron Ward, I met Ron Ward way back in Matamata at an event, and started to get to know Ron. Ron did a big thing for a faction of the car lovers in New Zealand. He started the National Street Rod Association here.
And it continues to this day. You went down to Turangi. It was a hot summer's day.
Yeah.
You picked up on the vibe. You picked up on some amazing cars as well.
Lead Central down there in Turangi. Sabi Quinton puts it on every year. He gathers all the people from around the country. You know, National Street Rod Association members come from near and far. We have this beautiful big picnic, you know, on a Saturday afternoon. It's just gorgeous. There's just so much sun in Turangi.
Well, Doug doing a marvellous job there with the camera at Turangi. And look, there was over 100 cars at the event. We can't show you all of them, but we've picked out a few that are not only interesting, but pretty unusual in some cases as well. Have a look at these.
Here's a little Pontiac pickup. Now, Phil, you didn't know that Pontiac made pickups.
No, I thought they were just car guys.
Yeah.
Station wagons and sedans.
Same here. You know, but Pontiac, you know, the poor old guy thinks it's a Cadillac. That's where they got the name from. But,
and that one's a bit rat roddish, do you think?
Yeah, it is. It's sort of like what you'd call a traditional hot rod. You know, it's still in progress, but probably only in progress to other people. The guy that owns it probably thinks it's finished.
It's a good-looking car. There's no doubt about that. With that small block in it, I bet it goes like Jack the Bear.
Look, pickups are pretty cool, eh? You know, but who needs a pickup line when you've got a pickup?
If I asked you the question, what's a quintessential hot rod, you'd probably say a 32 5-window coupe, wouldn't you?
32 5-window coupe, and well, it's either a 32 5-window coupe, a 32 roadster, or a T-bucket. And here we have a coupe.
There you go, and what a coupe it is.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's green. Oh, look at the depth of the paint there, man. This is a lovely car. Who wouldn't want to be cruising around in this thing on a day like today?
And what it doesn't show, Doug, is it shows that the months and in some cases years to get it to this stage. Yeah, we see the finished product and it looks $1 million, but maybe that was a barn find. Maybe it was a box of rust and bolts.
Who knows?
Man, there sure is a variety of cars at Lead Central this year, Doug. I love the traditional hot rods.
Yeah.
But what about the 50s? Like that Buick with the fins. How about that?
What about that? Like white, you know, like the scallop flames down, you know, scallops down the side, the lake pipes on the side of it, you know, like the metal flake roof. Man, this thing is just like, well, it's American graffiti just to its core.
Now, you know a little bit about how fins came about with cars. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, fins actually, I think the first fins came out in cars back in the early 20s when they would stick a fin down the centre of the back of one. But then, like in the later 40s, of course, you know, we had Cadillac and all that. They started bringing out their little wee wings and little fins. And then by the time they got to the end of the 50s, they had wings big enough to, well, you know, bigger than the space shuttle.
Well, the back of a 59 Chevy looks like the Starship Enterprise.
But I love fins, you know. I mean, because you got Neil fin, you got Tim fin, you know, and you got car fins, you know, you got all sorts of fins.
We've never heard anyone make a connection between musicians and hot rods, but well done.
That's the name.
Doug, I talked before about all the work that goes on behind the scenes. What about the Fordilac?
Yeah.
I mean, it's part Model A and part 4x2, but that's not doing it the service that it deserves, you know. That is something special.
Yeah.
That would have taken hours and hours of construction.
Well, this is owned by Barry and Lynn Gardner, members of the Whakatane Rod and Custom Club. I've known Lynn for many years, and Baz, you know, like he's a bit of a woodworker. But
you can tell.
Yeah, look at this thing. I mean, you wouldn't want to get bored, and you certainly wouldn't want to have Woody Woodpecker riding along with you.
Have a look at this, folks, and have a double look, because at first you think, yeah, that's a mid-50s Chevy. Look again. That's a Holden.
Yeah.
You would never pick that to be a Holden.
I tell you, like when I saw that park there, like from a distance, it looked like, you know, someone's left it out in the rain and it shrunk or something, because, you know, it's just like a 55 Chevy that's made smaller. But I think it's beautiful.
Oh,
you
the
know?
work on that grille,
yeah.
phenomenal.
It's a compact, you know.
And have a look too at the finish, at the pinstripe.
Yeah. I wonder if Scotty did this. I must ask him. Scotty B, he's a good mate of mine. It is just absolutely amazing. You know, this guy, he's done such a lead sled job to this thing. If someone said it was a Holden, you'd say no.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to look 3 or 4 times, the top chop. And what about the spare wheel cover?
The spare wheel.
Misled.
Yeah.
How good's that? How good's that?
I thought, yeah.
And the finishing touch, the icing on the cake, if you like, pinstripe.
Pinstriping.
Been around for a long, long time in the hot rod world.
Yeah, and I know probably one of the best pinstripers around, and that's Scotty Bear. He's a bit of a character. Here he is pinstriping this pickup. I met Scotty in 1975 when we went to America together, and he bought his first pinstriping brush then. And I tell you, this guy is just a legend.
Now, the first thing that catches your eye in this Mercury is the fact that it's got a Confederate flag under the bonnet. Now, for years and years and years, the Confederate flag, symbol of the South, but these days, not the most popular choice of flag, I wouldn't think. They've just been banned recently in NASCAR, but this guy obviously doesn't mind flying the flag, even if it is under the bonnet.
Well, the South will rise again.
Well, so they say.
Yeah.
This Mercury's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of a lead sled, isn't it?
And it's from Tikawiti, and this car has the loudest horn I have ever heard.
What's it got, a train horn on it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's loud. It is loud, loud. Yeah.
And look at the finishing details, just amazing. What about the push-button door release? That's incredible.
Yeah, push buttons. I mean, only good cars have push buttons.
And to finish it off, the personalised plate, One Bad 49.
One Bad 49. This is a bad 49.
49 Mercury, folks.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of them.
Beautiful.
Well, folks, as you saw from the coverage, lots of people enjoying the sunshine in Turangi for the NSRA Lead Central for another year. And the big thing, Doug, is everyone goes away with a prize or a trophy. There's plenty to go round.
Everyone leaves happy. Almost everyone gets a prize doing something. And go to the Tongaroa Lodge. If you want a good place to stay, Tongaroa Lodge. Wake up in the morning and the river's making all these chirpy little rippling sounds out there. And there's fishermen with their fly fishing poles trying to catch trout.
And that's only in Doug's bedroom.
Here's to chrome. This kind of chrome, that kind of chrome. Chrome here, chrome there, chrome by the inch, chrome by the yard. Now there's a unique sprayable quick polish to clean and protect any chrome surface with ease. Mother's California Gold All Chrome. Just spray, wipe, and buff your way to a brilliant shine. All Chrome from Mother's.
Don't forget, folks, if you're going past Turangi, go to the Tongaroa Lodge. They will really look after you, feed you, tuck you in at night.
Well, folks, that's the Hot Rod Show for this week. Don't forget, you can always catch us on the social media, on the Facebook, and yes, we're on YouTube now as well. Now, next week, we've got something pretty special for you. Doug goes up to Whangarei to the Tikipunga High School for the unveiling of their Model T. And I think we leave it at that. We make it a big surprise next week.
Well, that's it for the show, and we can't go without a famous last word. Woohoo!